This is Twit.
The world's largest solar project started producing electricity yesterday, and lots of it. The $2.2 billion Ivanpah solar thermal power plant has more than 300,000 computer-controlled mirrors that reflect sunlight into boilers, which then create steam that turn turbines to create electricity. The plant is part owned by Google and can provide power to 140,000 homes. This is quite a project, and if you've seen the video on this, if you're looking at the video now, it looks like it would blind you to look at it. It's just so much energy. It actually produces close to 400 megawatts of electricity. It's just an incredible amount of electricity, and it's very unlikely that anything this size will ever be built again. And the reason for it is that the cost of building something like this, from a megawatt to dollar ratio, however you want to calculate it, is never going to be, that's always going to be higher than other types of solar power. Since this thing was approved back in 2010, the cost of producing regular solar panels, the kind you'd have on your roof, or just regular solar panels for home consumption or for small businesses, has gone way through the floor. It's really cheap now and keeps getting cheaper all the time. And we're getting to a sort of singularity when you're going to be able to just print solar panels very cheaply, almost like printing sheets of paper or whatever, and you're going to be able to tile them everywhere, and it's going to be very inexpensive. But it's too bad, because these things are really impressive and they're fun to watch. How do you feel about the future of solar power in general, Marquez? Are you a pro solar power person? Do you think that's the future of alternative energy?
I'm a fan of electric, period. And I'm in an apartment, so I can't change a lot of what the infrastructure that's a part of this building. But I'd be more than happy to switch to solar when I move into my own place. I think that's a great idea, despite the price, because of how much more energy efficient it is, how much it saves you. So yeah, I'm a fan of solar and electric.
Yeah, so am I, and I'm very bullish on it. Right now, I think I've seen figures somewhere in the neighborhood of 1% of the U.S.'s energy needs are supplied by solar. It's pretty tiny, but I really think that solar is the future, and I'm going to tell you why. It's my sort of universal theory about why big tech happens. The reason solar is going to be very, very big and the overwhelmingly dominant source of alternative energy in the future is because that's what the Pentagon wants. The Pentagon wants solar power. And the reason they want solar power is because they tend to project power into hot, dry places. The experience of the U.S. military in Afghanistan and Iraq demonstrated this enormously. Enormous numbers of lives were lost in both of these conflicts because the U.S. had to have these gigantic convoys of oil tankers driving through dangerous areas every day, billions of gallons of oil and gasoline, to have generators going to run all the devices. They had to have truckloads of batteries for all these gadgets you read about, and hundreds of thousands of troops over a period of many years. It's massively expensive. It's very dangerous. It's just completely wrong. Whereas solar power is energy that you can get wherever you are, as long as you're in a reasonably sunny place. And so, if you look back at the history of technology, the reason we have GPS is because the military wanted it. The reason we have the internet is because the military wanted it. The reason we have wireless communications like mobile phones and so on is because the military needed it. The Pentagon drives the big items in technology and always has. And so in the contest with alternative fuels and all these other things, solar is going to win out because DARPA and the Pentagon is never going to stop investing in it. And so and it's something that can be made cheaper and cheaper all the time. So I think we're facing a solar dominant future, and that's just an awesome thing. But this particular power plant is being called the Hoover Dam of solar because it's just such a massive project. I think this is going to be looked at as a throwback to a previous era when solar power was a big thing, because in the future I think every little thing will have its own solar power. Your smart glasses will have its own solar power. Your phone will have its own solar power. Of course, these small devices will have to they'll only help the battery life. They won't actually be able to charge your phone with solar power alone, not anytime soon. But So we're looking at a really interesting future. And Marquez, you've no doubt heard about new technology that enables phones to charge through the screen. And there were some rumors that even Apple was working on that. Have you actually seen any demos of that kind of technology?
No, I'm always on the lookout for any sort of battery technology in general, because that's the number one complaint I always hear when people are looking for a new smartphone. How long does the battery last? How long does it take to charge? How fast does it recharge? You know, is wireless charging? What are the advantages to buying a certain phone with a certain battery? So I'm always on the lookout for those things, but I haven't actually gotten to see in person that particular example.
Yeah, I've seen a YouTube video of some technology, and of course we've seen the Apple patents and other patents. We've heard about research in this area. I think it's pretty clear that the smartphones of the future will have multiple ways of charging and getting electricity. I think, yes, I think they're going to, wireless charging is going to become standard. I think there'll be solar charging on the front and back so that you don't have to think about which way is up, which way is down. There'll probably be some degree of kinetic charging like you have in some watches and so on. Certainly wearable devices will have kinetic charging as one of the options. So, they're just going to get electricity wherever they can get it, and that'll extend batteries, because batteries are not improving at the rate of everything else. So they need all the help they can get.